Hi, Professor Swim. I'm Katie Wideman.
I'm Haley Hash.
I'm Chingyan Mac.
And we're Group 29.
We are going to talk about the ear structure, the outer ear, middle ear, and the inner ear.
This is the outer ear, and this is the helix, scapular fossa, antihelix, triangular fossa, the tragus, and here is the external auditory canal and the tympanic membrane.
Outer ear is also called a pinna. It is sensitive to 3000 Hz. It improves the sensitive to higher frequency sounds. External auditory canal is also called the ear canal. The 1/3 is the cartilaginous portion. The 2/3 is the bony portion. The master air cell ported bony area that anchors the bony portion of the external auditory canal and the middle ear. It allows air to warm up to reach the tympanic membrane. It is sensitive to 2000 to 7000 Hz. Tympanic membrane is also the manubrium. It has a trigeminal nerve that will affect the taste. It has 3 layers: lateral layers, central layer, and a medial layer.
The middle ear is described as an impedance matching system. It's an air-filled cavity that converts sound waves into mechanical energy. The tympanic membrane divides the outer ear from the middle ear, and it has 2 different cavities: the superior, which is also known as the adduct, and the inferior, which is known as the mesotympanum. This is the tympanic cavity. The tympanic cavity houses the 3 smallest bones of the body, which are the malleus, the stapes, the incus, and the footplate of the stapes. It also has the epitympanic recess, which is just the hollow in between the space of these bones. The tympanic cavity is a narrow, long, impetuous portion of the ear. The 3 smallest bones in the whole body are in the middle ear. This is the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. The stapes also has the footplate, which connects to the oval window. The malleus is also attached to the manubrium, which is embedded into the fibrous layers of the tympanic membrane. Okay, this diagram is of the tympanic membrane, the malleus, incus, stapes, and the oval window. Vibrations hit the tympanic membrane and cause a rocking motion of the ossicles, and then that creates a lever action, which means that the malleus and incus and stapes all rock back and forth, but essentially the footplate of the stapes hitting the oval window is what creates, what allows us to hear. The rocking back and forth amplifies the sound by 1.3 decibels. The stapes tilts and creates movement on the footplate against the oval window. This is showing the lever action, just that pressure and mass. When one goes one way, the other has to either go down or up, depending on the lever action. There's 6 walls of the middle ear. On the superior wall, there's the tegmen tympani. The anterior wall houses the tensor tympani muscle. The inferior wall has the interjugular vein. In the medial wall is where all houses all the windows and prominences. The only thing not included in this diagram is the fossa incus. Oval window contains the footplate of the stapes. It's a small membrane allowing footplate access to the inner ear fluids and to stimulate motion. The round window is a membrane with access to the basal turn of the scala tympani to the cochlea. On the wall of the middle ear, there's a pyramidal eminence. This is important because the stapedius muscle enters through the pyramidal eminence. These muscles protect us from loud and damaging sounds. Essentially, the loudest sound we hear is our own voice, and these muscles protect us by contracting. We can funnel sounds from 8,000 to 15,000 Hz. Like I said before, it is an impedance matching system, meaning that it turns acoustic waves into mechanical sounds. Because of lever action, there can be a 33 decibel gain, and And the eustachian's tube's purpose is to remove debris and pressure from the middle ear.
Now for the inner ear, it has 3 parts. First, we have the cochlea, which is a snail-shaped thing. Then we have the vestibule, and then we have the semicircular canals. So first, for the cochlea, there are 3 layers in it. First, we're going to have the scala tympani at the bottom, then there's a scala media, and then there's the scala vestibuli. Okay, now this is the vestibule, and protruding from it are the 3 semicircular canals. First, we have our anterior semicircular canal, then the posterior semicircular canal, and finally the lateral semicircular canal. The semicircular canals all find their way back to the vestibule by way of the ampullae, these bumps right here, here, and here. So now if you took the cochlea and you cut it like this into a cross section, you would still see the 3 main parts, the scala vestibuli, scala media, and scala tympani again. This time, you're going to be able to also see Reisner's membrane, which is separating the scala vestibuli from the scala media. And then there's also the basilar membrane, which separates the scala media from the scala tympani. Next, within the scala media, we can see the stria vascularis, which is this in red right here, and the spiral ligament, which is the green part that goes around this. Within the scala media, we have the organ of Corti, which is really critical for hearing, because in here we're going to have the hair cells, which are in green, and the supporting cells, which are in red, which kind of provide structure for the organ of Corti within the scala media. Above the organ, we have the tectorial membrane, which protects the organ of Corti. Okay, now the way that this actually works with hearing is first when the sound comes in, it goes into the scala vestibuli, and this is going to cause a kind of a movement or shift of the fluid in the scala vestibuli, which is then going to move Reisner's membrane right here, which in turn creates a shift in the movement of the endolymph in the scala media, and that then causes the basilar membrane to start moving in waves like this, and these waves end up causing the hair cells to shift and to bend, and the ultimate result of that is going to be a chemical signal called the cochlear microphonic, which is then sent to the auditory nerve. Also, this structure over here is called the spinal ganglion, and that contains a bunch of nerve cells all together. So the hair cells within the organ of Corti, there are the outer ones and the inner ones, and the outer ones are important because they sharpen the wave of the basilar membrane. Back to the cochlea, the base of it down here is going to be more responsive to higher frequencies, while the apex here, or the helicotrema, is more responsive to lower frequencies. Here again, we can see all the ampullae, these round things, and within each ampullae is a crista. Now, this whole entire thing is filled with endolymph, including what we have here is the utricle, and over here, the saccule. These two structures are responsible for linear motion. The utricle, responsible for horizontal movement, and the saccule, responsible for vertical movement. Then the cristae within the ampullae are responsible for angular acceleration, This all happens because when you move your head, the fluid shifts, which then shifts the crista.